This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions coming to you about the economy and housing. Came across an article from Wall Street. The title caught my attention. This is how first-time buyers get squeezed by rampant home price inflation. And I was thinking about housing as I was going to another real estate meeting, just finding out if any deals out. And I know in my area that the housing prices is becoming astronomical, and it's not only is it not affordable for first-time home buyers, it doesn't make any financial sense even as an investor in certain areas, especially if you're looking for rentals and cash flow, which I primarily focus my attention on. So I have to drive a little further just to find some decent houses and decent prices. So if I was thinking from an investor standpoint, I was thinking things again that have been out of hand, and I've talked about this a couple of times before in some other previous videos. This only adds more fuel to the fire and just proves my point that things are getting just way out of hand. And if you're being patient, you're going to eventually feel a correction, because just this article alone just speaks to, if your first-time home buyers get squeezed out by the economy, you have to have people to be able to purchase these homes. And millennials and your lower and middle class or trying to purchase homes, what kind of fuels the economy and stuff. If you keep pricing them out, you're eventually going to have to go back down and lowering the prices to make it more affordable for them, or a correction has to come. So kind of really went on a little tangent there, but I just wanted to get into the point about housing, because housing again makes up a big portion of what we do. So let's dive right into the article. This is how first-time buyers get squeezed by rampant home price inflation. Millennials can go to the Fed and complain. Home prices have been surging in many markets. That's why I gave that a little preliminary speech about it. Mortgage rates have been rising, incomes have plotted along with little growth, and the disconnect is getting bigger and bigger. This is not a problem for well-to-do Americans who've owned a lot of assets and benefited from the rampant asset price inflation over the past 8 years. But it is a problem for those trying to buy a home based on their wages, especially first-time buyers, which now include more and more millennials. That's what I was alluding at to earlier. Freddie Mac reported on Thursday that this week's average 30-year fixed mortgage rate rose to 4.47%, the highest since January 2014, which is still very low historically, but it's creeping up. Now, I'm going to put a link to this description, and I'm going to put a link to this article in the description aspect of the video, but I just wanted to keep going on. The highest since January 2014, which is still very historically low. On Friday, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate for top-tier borrowers rose to 4.58%, according to Mortgage News Daily, on a day when the Treasury 10-year surged to 2.96%, the highest since 2014. As we see here, the cost of borrowing is getting more expensive. This comes to the drumbeat of ballooning home prices, update on the most splendid housing bubbles in the U.S. Again, that's maybe another article to click on, and so I'm going to provide you that link in the description, as I mentioned. So the monthly cost of an entry-level home on a nationwide basis surged 9% in March from a year ago, according to a note by John Burns Real Estate Consulting, senior research analyst at Devin Backen. The report defined entry-level home as one that sells for 80% of the median price, resale and new, in that particular market. It assumed a 5% down payment and a 30-year fixed rate mortgage for the remainder. The monthly costs included principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and private mortgage insurance, but they do not include maintenance and other costs associated with owning a home. And there's a lot of other maintenance associated with home. Anyone who owns a home knows that it's a constant living expense. You have a number of months where things don't go in, but there's always some kind of cost that comes into owning a home, in addition to just the monthly mortgage payment and insurance. In the San Francisco Bay Area, a diverse area that includes San Francisco, Silicon Valley, much of the East Bay, and parts of the North Bay, the monthly cost of an entry-level home surged 14% in March compared to a year earlier to $4,673 a month. So let's get here. You'll have to have $50,000 a year just to cover the mortgage payment. And I'm giving rough estimates here. This is the highest monthly cost of any major metropolitan statistical area in the U.S., but this is based on the median price of a large and diverse area. In some cities within the Bay Area, monthly costs of the entry-level home are lower and others far higher. Wow. For example, in San Francisco, where the median home is $1.4 million and the entry-level home is $1.12 million, the monthly mortgage payment, interest, and principal will come to about $5,400 for any entry-level home. Property taxes will would come to be about $1,365 a month, plus insurance and private mortgage insurance. Now, this is part of the American dream. That's why I like to take time to talk about housing, because this is what everybody is, no matter what age and time, they associate themselves by owning their home as part of reaching the American dream. That's why it's such a big topic and it has to be paid so much attention for. Plus insurance and private mortgage insurance. So pretty soon this entry-level home costs about $7,000 a month or $84,000 a year, not including utilities, maintenance, and other expenses. Okay, that's in that San Francisco area where we've already been conditioned that it's going to be high because of the area in Silicon Valley and stuff like that. If it's a condo and that is the price, it's certainly is a condo. The homeowner associate fees will have to be added on top. This is why even the median Facebook employee, not to be confused with its contract workers making over $240,000 a year in total compensation before income tax, is feeling the squeeze. Imagine you making $240,000 a year in total compensation, which is a very, very good salary in today's standards, and still feeling the squeeze to live in that area to purchase a home. In the Seattle metro, the monthly cost of the entry-level home jumped 13% from a year ago to $2,790, the second highest in the country. The report finds that in San Francisco Bay and in the Seattle metro, home buyers have become overly exuberant, to put it mildly. In the vast and diverse New York City metro area, the cost of entry-level home inched up 1% to $2,634, third highest in the country. I'm from New York. I've gotten calls, people buying their first home, and they would tell me the prices they're paying for, because it's the first time some of my friends have gotten their homes, live there all their life, it's find time to make choices. And when they're getting to this and they tell me the prices, this doesn't seem surprising whatsoever. I just don't know how long that's going to be sustained before we have a correction. So you might have the same problem. We're going to probably have the same problem that was before, people being overweight in their mortgage prime and without any job losses and continually feeling that they're doing everything they can to keep this home. But I digress. Let's keep going on. However, the median price in Manhattan was $1.1 million in Q1, and the average price was nearly $2 million according to the LMM report. Within Manhattan, there are huge differences. In Tribeca, the most expensive spot, the median sales price was $3.6 million according to Property Shack. In Soho, it was $3.2 million, and West Village was $2.3 million. These are condos or co-ops. Talk about overly exuberant home buyers. There simply are no entry-level homes in these neighborhoods. This is the case in many areas of Manhattan, so just forget it. Of the largest 31 metro areas, 23 have an affordability problem that is notably worse than the long-term norm, the report finds. So here's Burns' list of the monthly housing costs of the top 31 metros in order of the year-over-year percentage increases. The San Francisco Bay Area is at the top with a 14% jump in costs. The New York and Washington, D.C. metros are in the bottom with an increase of 1%. I added that in the red mark. I love charts, I love descriptions. There's a great visual into what we're talking about here. Look at this. Bay Area, California, 4,673, 1 year increase. Seattle, 2,790, Las Vegas, Nashville, and the list goes down. Salt Lake City, Tampa, 1,185, Dallas. I'm kind of skimming through this, but again, I'm going to put that link in the description. Jacksonville, 1,195, 1,235, 2,980. Orlando, $1,368. And these are the monthly mortgage payments for the housing in that process. And for average, it's still considered to be the average income for most of the United States is supposed to be for middle class is $50,000, I think. Don't quote me on that. But so when you're looking at prices like this and you're wondering how much people have just to live, it just puts things in perspective that if you're not considering that things are out of whack and a correction is due, then maybe these numbers may put more energy into that perspective. In conclusion, home buyers can afford less home today than they could 1 year ago, the report says. This is the effect of rampant asset price inflation. It hits real life in this way. The cost of housing will siphon off the new owner's income that cannot be used for other things. Potential buyers are looking for housing further away, thus incurring the costs and hassles of longer commutes. Buyers end up with something even smaller, not as active homes in New York City or San Francisco or palatial in size to begin with. They're looking for condos instead of single-family homes. And starting in 2018, there will be additional costs to the new tax law on top of home price increases and jumpy mortgage interest rates. The mortgage interest deductible has been further reduced. Let me repeat that again. I kind of said that too quickly. And starting in 2018, there will be an additional cost due to the new tax law on top of home price increases and jumpy mortgage interest rates. The mortgage interest and deductible has been further reduced. So first-time home buyers, having missed out on the home price surge of the past 8 or so years, this includes most millennials, bear the brunt of the cost of this asset price inflation in the housing market. That lunch was free for some, but others are paying for it. And those folks, including the millennials, can go to the Fed and complain about it, since it was the Fed that set out to heal the housing market after the financial crisis by purposefully inflating home prices, or more precisely, devalue the fruits of labor for buying assets. Bonds, junk bonds, spreads, commercial real estate, leveraged loans, over-leveraged companies all get named as risks to the banks. This is why gradual tightening will continue for a long time. Now even the Fed dove homes on the everlasting everything bubble. We're in the everything bubble. Articles worth your attention, especially if you're looking to purchase your first time home. Bring a lot of information to me. It just keeps me in the right mindset, especially when I'm seeing things way out of price and no one's questioning this. So if this video has been any value to you, please subscribe, leave some comments. Until my next video, I'm out.